Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for the last home game of the first half of our regular season. In our 15th anniversary season, we welcome our guests from Eustis High School. They are the Panthers. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting for Eustis, number 5, Callie, number 10, Manea, number 11, Chloe, number 13, Skylar, number 44, Shakaya. For the Mustangs, number 4, Michaela Akers, number 11, Natasha Williams, number 12, Sarai Lumsden, number 15, Christina Wright, and number 23, Janiyah Kilpatrick. Tonight's game is being live streamed on YouTube as well as the NFHS network. If you have friends and family back in Eustis, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, and they were not able to join us in person tonight, just let them know. All they have to go do is open up the YouTube app on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device, search for Wekiva Sports. We also simulcast on the NFHS network. And for those of you doing just that, welcome to Mustang Arena and happy holidays. This is, again, the last game before we head into winter break that will be at home. It is the Mustangs versus the Panthers. And we are off. Opening tip goes out of bounds and is awarded to Eustis, so that means that it will be possession arrow favoring Wekiva first. And my name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School. We got a steal. Mustang basket to put Wekiva on the board. Stolen by the Mustangs and cashing in once again. Back-to-back baskets by Christina Wright. And we'll pause for a Panther timeout. 30-second timeout requested by Eustis. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Parchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with you for JV basketball competition. Palming, Mustangs ball. So 3 consecutive turnovers for the Panthers.
A 4-0 lead for the Mustangs, looking to extend that lead.
And an anemic shot there by Lumsden, but pulling down the offensive board is Kilpatrick. Mustangs will get another crack at this one. Tough offensive or defensive pressure coming on by the Panthers. That was Skylar putting that on. And ultimately does cause the turnover.
So Wekiva steals it in the blue.
Christina Wright takes it at half court, goes all the way herself. Can't quite get it to drop on the stolen layup in transition. Fighting for the layup is Sarai Lumsden, going all the way to the floor and just not able to corral it before letting the ball go out of bounds. That'll be a team defensive rebound for the Panthers. This was not supposed to be the first home game of the year for JV, but due to some scheduling flukes, games getting canceled and moved into January, and a few other miscellaneous odds and ends, we've actually made it all the way to December 15th without hosting a JV girls game. So this will be the very first time we've seen them in action here at Mustang Arena in this 15th anniversary season, as it is taken under the basket for the Mustangs.
And kissing the board, Kilpatrick. Actually, it's... So, of course, this is the first of 2 games tonight. Varsity teams will take to the floor about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this game. And Wekiva 11-0 for the varsity team.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better start to this 15th anniversary season for them. And those wins are not just any wins. A lot of those are quality wins, including a pretty unexpected win over Colonial. I don't think it was a huge surprise Wekiva won that game. It was a surprise they won by about 20, though. Foul called against number 23, Janiah Kilpatrick. That's her first personal foul, the team's first. Panthers ball at the opposing baseline.
So Eustis maintains possession. And they're looking to get their first points of the night, trailing 6-0. Teams lined up on the right side of the free throw line at the paint. That is Chloe M. Kicks it out, the drive, and off the bank, Navaya.
Schuyler puts the Panthers on the board.
Come back the other way.
The three does not fall for Sarai Lunson, and it'll go out of bounds with no one else touching it. And we have some personnel changes in for Wekiva.
A 6-2 lead for Wekiva. So Navaya, top of the key, gives the ball up to Schuyler, and she will try to negotiate that corner.
Yeah, she lost her dribble there. Not a traditional steal by Kilpatrick, but Kilpatrick definitely disrupted that dribble and indirectly caused the turnover there. So Panthers struggling a little bit with turnovers here in the opening 4 minutes of the JV contest. And
Lucy bringing the ball up. Wekiva will keep possession of the ball.
No, that's actually going to be a turnover.
Oh, it is a turnover. Okay. So an opportunity for Eustis to cut into that 6-4 lead. They are in the blue jerseys as Navaya brings the ball up.
Again, trouble holding on to the dribble, and this time Lucy is there and ready to take over. Rough pass, corralled in by Molson. Bounce pass to the baseline, dribbled out by Schuyler. It'll stay with the Mustangs.
And Wekiva will maintain possession.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Sarai Lumson. And
she'll also pass the ball. And the drive from the right side, that's Molson. And she draws the foul.
Foul is called against number 13, Schuyler. It's her first personal foul, the team's first, and it sends Zeta Molson to the line, shooting for the Mustangs.
So Molson with 2 points, looking to up that lead. 6-2 now by Wekiva.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs.
What happened?
I don't know. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Apologies, a little technical glitch there. And we are back online. You haven't missed anything, though. Still a 6-4 ball game. Mustangs up by 2 with 3.5 minutes to go as we get a turnover as Nevia lets the ball go out of bounds. Mustangs will take over at the sideline. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva, taking you through this game. The other voice you hear is Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, joining me tonight, and both of us will continue to be here for the varsity game that is coming up next. Lumsden can't get it to go from the key. Rebound to Chloe, going in transition the other way, and a little too much heat on the layup and too slow on the rebound action. 3 Mustangs couldn't get to it. Putback, though, will not go, and the rebound finally goes to Boyd. Mustangs got away with one there, but now Davis loses the ball on the dribble out of bounds, and so we'll pause here for a substitution. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 15, Christina Wright. Checking into the game for the Panthers, number 50, Mariah.
So Eustis, opportunity to tie or take the lead, trailing 6-4. And it's not going to happen. Lumpson reaching in, snags the ball away, and doing the bank.
Mustang basket by Christina Wright.
So just that quickly, an opportunity to tie this game or take the lead, and now it's a 4-point deficit. Eustis having some trouble bringing it up, and finally they...
Too much heat on the pass there by Skylar.
Out of sync, and even though they were able to cross the line, they never really were able to find that, really get into any type of set. So Lumpson will take the inbound pass, and she will carry it over midcourt. No dice, rolls out. Offensive rebound.
Boyd and Molson each got a crack at that. Molson gets another crack. That's still not going in. Matrice Boyd with yet another rebound, and Coach Russ wants a timeout. The official, of course, waits for possession to occur, which it does. 30-second timeout requested by the Mustangs. We'll be back with more from Mustang Arena. 8-4 the score with 2:14 to go in the first. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher to take you through these last 2 minutes, 14 seconds of the first period. Wekiva out to an 8-4 lead here in the JV contest. And the Mustangs with 5 opportunities can't get one to go, including before and after timeout. Now it looks like a technical foul is called.
The ref heading over to our position.
Technical foul is called against Mustangs, number 24, Matrice Boyd, her first personal foul, and the team's second. Shooting the free throws for Eustis, number 11, Chloe. First one is a miss. Of course, the penalty for a technical foul is 2 free throws and possession. So Panthers, who would have had possession anyway, will get possession at half court after the 2 free throws. 0 for 2 at the line.
The steal coming back the other way, driving that lane. No dice off the bank, but doing the Windex work. is Mosin, unable. And so now Eustis comes back the other way, trailing 8-4, 140 remaining in the first quarter. And over on that right corner.
Held ball, possession Mustangs.
So another turnover for Eustis.
Checking into the game for the Panthers, number 5, Callie.
And Wekiva will go back to work, minute and a half before the end of the second quarter.
Foul called against Panthers, number 5, Callie. That's her first and the team's second. Matrice Boyd returns to the game for Wekiva.
Wekiva will inbound the ball. That's Lumsden doing the inbounding, and she gets it into Boyd. Lumsden picks up the loose ball along that baseline into Boyd.
Lumsden to Boyd for the Mustang basket. So Wekiva finally in the double digits here with just 75 seconds left to go in the first, trying to get something done in transition. We're going to pick up a foul here on the floor, drawn by Schuyler. Foul called against Mustangs number 10, Kiana Davis. That's her first personal foul, the team's third. Panthers ball at the opposing baseline. Rebounded out of bounds by the Mustangs. Still Panthers ball. Stolen by Boyd. Bounce pass to right. Not great timing, but it'll work out anyway as she draws the foul. Foul called against number 10, Mania. That's her first personal foul, the team's third, and it sends Christina Wright to the line shooting 2. No basket, lane violation on the Mustangs. Panthers ball. Five seconds under guard. Mustangs ball. So credit to Christina Wright for the steal there.
And 47 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wekiva with the lead. They've led throughout, scoring the first points, 10-4 now.
I think that last possession was destined to be a turnover one way or the other, because if it hadn't been 5 seconds, I saw her lift her pivot foot, so it would have been a travel call anyway.
That was Lumsden with the dribble. Ball will remain with Wekiva.
That play was disrupted by Schuyler of the Panthers. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 3, Tammy Lucy. Again, swatted away by the Panthers. Mariah this time got a paw on it. Remains with Wekiva. Lucy will take it out. Just about half a minute remaining in the first period. Again, Eustis getting in the way. That was Mania who came in for that inbound. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 23, Janiah Kilpatrick.
Wekiva inbounds, goes back to work. That's right.
Wright gets the ball almost stripped from her by Mariah. And Boyd is there to bail her out and then immediately draws the foul. Foul called against Panthers. Number 50, Mariah. Her first personal foul, and the team's fourth. And the official signal to the score table was, I think, a bear hug. I was not aware that was an official classification of foul, but
Hey, you gotta go hard.
checking into the game for Eustis, number 44, Shakaya. And we'll pause here for a little shoe tying. 25 seconds to go in the first. Not a high-scoring game for either team, but the Mustangs outscoring Eustis by a more than 2-1 margin so far. Boyd with kind of a wild shot from the key. That doesn't go. The putback attempt not valid either. Wright gets a third chance for the Mustangs, and it is rebounded by Callie, who immediately steps out of bounds. Mustangs ball. So Wekiva getting a lot of offensive opportunities. Certainly that is why they are up by 6, but if they were able to convert even half of those, they could be up by a lot more.
10 seconds remaining, and we got the scramble, loose ball.
Held ball, possession, Panthers. That may actually work out for Wekiva because that means that they'll get the possession arrow to start the second quarter without a 9-second clock on them. And a rough pass is reeled in by Malia. Not sure if she'll be able to get anything done before the clock expires, and she does not. That takes us to the end of the first period. Wekiva out to a 6-point advantage in the opening 8 minutes. 10-4 is your score at the first break here in the JV contest, our final home game before we get to winter break here in our 15th anniversary season. Back with more from Mustang Arena in a moment. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the second quarter. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher for the second quarter of JV basketball action here on Wednesday night. This is, again, the last home game of the year, or at least the last home game before winter break, I should say, because there is some tournament action going on for the varsity team over the holiday break. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the varsity game, as that is a varsity exclusive event. Boyd can't get it to go from under the board. I got one referee signaling foul, the other signaling jump ball. I think the foul is going to take precedence. Foul is called against Mustangs, number 23, Janiyah Kilpatrick. That's her second personal foul, the team's fourth.
So Eustis will inbound the ball, their first possession of the second quarter, down 10-4. They've trailed throughout. Wekiva scored the first points, and they will not get a shot off.
And another swing and a miss. That looks like one of those football plays where the receiver misruns the route.
So Lumpson will take the inbound pass. And we got a stoppage here as we got a couple players coming in. And Lumpson takes the pass from Wright. She'll bring the ball up. Walking the ball up, going to obviously a more deliberate pace. Second quarter, Wekiva up 10-4 with possession. Lumpson left, right, drives that lane and draws the foul. And
Sarai Lumpson fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. Panther foul is called against number 3, Evia. On the block, her first and the team's 5th.
So Lumpson will go to the line. She has yet to score. And you can see she still looks like she's shaking off the effects of hitting the ground hard. That was a very hard foul, Mark.
Yeah, a lot of contact there, and she went down pretty hard, but doesn't seem to have affected her shooting arm as the first one goes in.
Can't get the second. So the lead remains at 11-4, and Wekiva will catch a break. Keeps possession of the ball, so Lumpson will inbound the ball.
Latrice Boyd returns to the game for the Mustangs.
And so the inbound now over to Wright. Back to Lumpson. And she'll take the shot herself, nothing but air. And rattling down that loose ball is Chloe. And she'll finally give it up to Callie, then gives it up to Nevaeh. Excuse me, this is Nevaeh with it now. Callie in the middle. Stolen, and we're coming back the other way. Transition. And
Christina Wright draws the foul on the layup attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot two for the Mustangs. The foul is called against Panthers. Number 5, Callie, that's her second personal foul and the team's 6th. So that also means Wekiva will have the benefit of bonus for the remainder of the first half.
Yes, and remember there's still 6:45 remaining.
So Christina Wright has 6 of the Mustangs' 11 points so far, does not add one here.
So right at the line and can't get the second to drop, but grabs her own rebound. Tries to go bank, snags the offensive rebound, and will keep possession.
Yeah, managed to make it go off of the Panthers, so nice.
So you talked about this earlier, Mark. Offensive rebounding so far has been the key. Of course, we don't keep stats for the junior varsity, but I would say that Wekiva has at least 6 of them, half a dozen. And certainly, even if you're not converting a lot of them, that's certainly going to keep you in the lead. Because, again, if you don't have possession of the ball, you can't score. In the meantime, we do have an injury down. And that is Shikaya. So now our physical trainer, Mr. Berg, out taking a look at the Eustis player. That's Shikaya J. 6:40 remaining in the first half. This is live action from Mustang Arena on the southwest side of Apopka, Florida. Eustis in the blue jerseys, they are trailing 11-4. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday night. And as Mark said,
Shikaya is shaken up on the play. Mariah is in for her, number 50. Shikaya makes her way off with the assistance of our athletic training team.
Tonight's games, of course, after this junior varsity game, the varsity teams will take to the court. These are the last games of the first semester. Our next game's being played at Mustang Arena, and really for both these teams will be the Florida Prospects Tournament, which will take place on December 28, 29, and 30th.
27th to 29th.
So Wekiva maintains the ball. They get that stolen ball. That's right.
Boyd can't get it to pop in. Molson tries again. That's not going either. Lucy with the rebound. So Neal, Wekiva continuing to rack up those offensive boards, although that one will be for naught, as looks like it's going to stay with the Mustangs. So they're going to say that went off of Nevaeh.
So Wekiva inbounds it, and stepping right in front with Mariah, who just came in.
Yeah, Mariah gets the steal, but then is promptly called for traveling. Mustangs ball.
Again, that's why you play JV. You probably shouldn't have thrown that ball in, just too much traffic. And now the foul, no, travel. So again, on 2 occasions, Wekiva tries to bounce that ball in just a cluster of players instead of going up top. And that's where your inexperience, why junior varsity, compared to varsity. So the
Stolen
steal,
by Boyd. And she's got a little room in front of her. Finally runs into a wall with Chloe. And so the Mustangs will pause and set up the half court. To the paint, Wright runs into a wall, and she's lucky she got a foul there. Otherwise, it would have certainly been a turnover. Block is called against Callie. It's her third personal foul, the team's 7th, and that puts the Mustangs into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1, number 15, Christina Wright.
So the rebound comes down to Callie, and she draws the foul. Just under 6 minutes before halftime.
Foul called against Mustangs, number 21, Zeta Molson, her first personal foul, the team's 5th. Checking into the game for Wekiva, number 12, Sarai Lumsden.
So Eustis brings the ball up, trailing 11-4. So far, nothing inside. Good defense by Wekiva on the right wing. That's Chloe. And loose ball chased down by Callie, and she is guarded by Lucy.
I thought that was coming over here to us for a second, Neil. Eustis made a couple of those mistakes tonight with those high lobbed passes that go over the head of the intended receiver. But this time it's Callie on the basket, the pass from Nevaeh.
And that'll cut the lead to 11-6.
Trey doesn't fall for Lumsden. And the rebound goes to Chloe, who promptly gives up her dribble, and so Skylar has to come and bail her out in the backcourt. Nice pass, and there it falls. That's Skylar to Nevaeh for the Panther basket.
And that'll cut the lead to 11-8. A couple of consecutive baskets for Eustis as we
You may have
to
heard the
4.5.
background noise there. Both the bench of the JV team and the varsity team sitting in the stands went wild for Nevaeh there, and they recognize the quality of that pass. It's always nice to score a basket, not because the other team screwed up, but because you executed something really well, and that was certainly the case there. Foul is called against Mustangs, number 21, Zeta Molson, her second and the team's 6th. So now we'll be shooting on every defensive foul for the rest of the first half.
Yeah, and that's a period of 4 minutes, 26 seconds. As the game continues, a rally here. Eustis on a run. They've scored 4 consecutive points, cutting the lead to 11-8 as we approach 4 minutes. Now a more deliberate pace. No transition, and Eustis unable to...
Another one of those high lobbed passes. I mean, it's something that you do instinctively as a basketball player. Coaches would probably tell you to go for the bounce pass in that scenario, but you're trying to pass it in such a way that it can't be intercepted. But when you do that, you also make it impossible for your own teammates to pick it up either. Now we get a steal from Callie, who has a clear path in front of her, but too much heat on the layup, not able to convert the steal, and we're going to get a held ball, possession, Panthers. Checking into the game for Wekiva, number 4, Michaela Akers.
And so Eustis will go back to work, trailing 11-8 from the right corner. That's Cole. And she's
Trey doesn't
unable
fall.
to drop
Boyd gets the
Trey.
rebound, but falls and does exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation. She froze, completely froze to avoid the travel call. Got the ball off to Lumsden, who did everything right except the layup. A little too close to the backboard there, and Tammy Lucy wrestles the rebound for the putback. Nice work on the floor there by Lucy. That was almost certainly going to be a Panther rebound, and Lucy said not so fast. Too much heat on the short jumper, but the putback made by Chloe. First points in the book for her, and so since the end of the first period, It's actually been 6-3 Eustis, so they have cut into the Mustang lead a little bit, down to a one-possession ball game. And 2 chances for Wekiva don't fall.
And there's a good example of why that lead's been cut into, as Mark just said. They're doing everything right, but putting the ball in the basket, Wekiva that is. They're getting offensive rebounds
Foul is
and
called
field goals.
against number 50, Mariah. On the hold, that's her second personal foul, the team's 8th. The Mustangs continue into bonus. Patrice Boyd will shoot 1-1.
And Wekiva's grabbing the offensive rebounds and creating field goal attempts, but they're just not able to convert. So they continue to lead, though, 13-10. And an opportunity to increase that lead goes by the wayside. A held ball.
Held ball, possession Mustangs. And again, some early season JV jitters here as the players take a little while to react to the official signal that it was in fact Mustangs ball. So the possession arrow will switch once again now. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Wright had a good angle, couldn't get it to bank in, but second chance basket pulled down for the Mustangs.
And that'll up the lead to 15-10, 2.5 before halftime. We come back the other way.
That was Natasha Williams that had that bucket just a moment ago.
And blocked by Wright at the waist, and now the ball comes loose, picked up by Wekiva, back to Boyd, down low to back to Wekiva, Akers. And
we're going to get a foul away from the ball here. Push is called against number 50, Mariah. That's her third personal foul, the team's 9th, and that will send Patrice Boyd to the line, shooting 1-1 bonus for the Mustangs.
And Wekiva, though, will be in double bonus the rest of the way.
She hits the first, so she gets a second. Of course, she doesn't know that, but you get one more there.
So Boyd will go back to the line with 3 points and a 16-10 lead held by Wekiva.
And again, this is typical of early season JV games, that we have a little bit of procedural hiccup where the players will react to what they think was supposed to happen rather than what the official actually signaled. So 2 for 2 at the line goes Patrice Boyd.
And a 17-10 lead. Now about 50 fans watching this JV game. Of course, the varsity teams will take to the court afterwards. About 15 minutes afterwards, Eustis having trouble getting that ball up, and they will keep possession. But, you know, we always mention, Mark, when you knock that ball out of bounds, the defense knocks the ball out of bounds. That really is, it just stops the momentum and the ability to set up for the offense. They have to reset, take a few more seconds. And this is Cole.
Too hot on that one, but the offensive rebound goes to Melina. Not for long, though, as Wright takes it away in a little bit of a fracas near half court. Good pass, but can't reel it in, and they are going to say that that was off of Dantasia of the Panthers. So the Mustangs will keep possession at the opposing baseline. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 21, Zeta Molson.
And Wekiva maintains possession a minute and a half. The 15-foot J rattles off. Back out.
Kilpatrick is a little bit to the right and getting double teamed on the rebound. Wekiva tries to get it out from under there, and held ball, possession, Panthers. Yeah, Coach Russ was trying to call a timeout, but no possession was established. So it'll be a defensive rebound for the Panthers. However, the Mustangs will at least get the possession arrow out of the deal. And we'll pause here for a timeout called by the Panthers. 30-second timeout. We'll take it with them, and we'll be back from Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. $1:20 to go here in the first half as the Panthers took the timeout there. And the Mustangs still holding on to a 7-point advantage. It's definitely been a scrappy contest, and you can tell that neither one of these teams has quite as many games under their belt as they might like to at this point in the season. I know there's been a lot of scheduling issues, and so Wekiva, the sheer number of games they have in the books is a little lower than it would normally be as we approach the end of the first semester. We're going to get a foul down here at the other end. Mustang foul is called against number 24, Matrice Boyd, her second personal foul. The team's 7th, and that will send the Panthers to the line to shoot 2. And, of course, that is the second foul for Boyd because at the high school level, technical fouls do count as personal fouls, unlike in the pro leagues. And the second one bounces out as well, so 0 for 2 at the line and missed opportunity. And we get a split on the floor by Mania, manages to keep possession of it, and a stolen layup by Chloe. So even though the free throws didn't go, the Panthers are still able to get something useful out of that possession. And they cut the Mustang lead to 5 as we dip under a minute remaining in the first half. Callie got in the way of that one, but it'll stay with the Mustangs. As you mentioned a moment ago, Neil, those plays, even though they don't have a quantifiable outcome in terms of changing the possession, they do still swing the momentum of the game, particularly if you can get several of them in a row. And, yep, Zeta Molson is called for traveling. Panthers ball. And she walked before she passed, and so Eustis takes over with an opportunity to cut it to a one-possession game before we go to intermission.
Wekiva had an 8-2 lead. Since then, it has not been. That's the largest at 6 points.
Trey for Schuyler doesn't fall. We go back to the key, and we're going to get a held ball, possession Mustangs. Or excuse me, possession Panthers.
So 22 seconds remaining. Eustis with the lead, or with possession, trailing. 20 seconds now. The drive along the baseline cut off. And out of bounds. Possession will remain with Eustis.
To the key again. Cut off once again. Chloe takes the shot. Not there. Rebound goes to Molson. 5 seconds to go in transition to Wright, and it banks in. Christina Wright gets the last word of the first half, and that takes us to intermission with the Mustangs up by 7. 19-12 is your score at the end of the second quarter. We'll be back with the second half of basketball action here in the JV contest. Our final game before winter break, and we'll be back. The Mustangs up 7 going into halftime. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the third quarter.
And Wekiva will have the first possession of the second half with a 19-12 lead. They have led throughout, scoring the first points. And immediately a turnover. Eustis coming up with it. And as you like to say, Mark, one good turnover deserves another. And ball will go back to Wekiva. That's Christina Wright with 8 points. She'll be inbounding the ball. Goes inside to Boyd, who spins. Back out to the right with Wright. Grabbing that rebound.
Held ball, possession Panthers.
So we've seen a lot of action through the first 26 seconds of the second half, but no points on the board, Mark.
No, none so far.
And now Coach Russ telling your team to go to the full court defense.
Nearly picked up a steal there.
Yeah, so again, they didn't actually get the steal in the backcourt, but that does slow down Eustis' ability to get that ball up the court. And now the refs are having a conversation, conferring. And it will be Wekiva possession. Just into the second half, this is junior varsity action from Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs, who are in the white jerseys. With possession, Eustis Panthers, the opposition tonight. Thank you for joining us. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi. The spin. And now Davis decides not to drive the lane and hands it off to Lumpson, who loses it at the top of the key, and she will give it out to Kilpatrick. And now back to Lumpson, who will reset the offense. So once again, on that particular move, a lot of action but no points, and now we do get some attempt at the basket. Rolls off out of bounds, and Eustis possession. Excuse me, Wekiva
possession. It's Wekiva possession, it's just they didn't know that until they started paying attention.
So Lumpson inbounds the ball to Kilpatrick, and she loses the ball, but again, Wekiva possession. So, of course, the varsity game will take place about 15 minutes, start about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this junior varsity game. And if you have not heard, one of our big themes, one of the big stories of this season is Coach Tommy Butts, who is now in his 10th season at the helm of Wekiva, won his 300th game, and Lumpson unable to drop the deuce, but doing that Windex work is right, and she steps on the line, so some good defense by Eustis, forcing the right to step out of bounds. And now Wekiva's going to back off the full court defense, so still man-to-man, picking up the offense at midcourt.
An unforced error there as Callie tries to get it to Mania, and it just flies out of bounds.
So once again, we will talk more about this during the varsity game, but congratulations to Coach Tommy Butts, who won his 300th game last Thursday against Colonial. As Lumpson drives, tries to float in the deuce. No dice, a couple of attempts, and the
Putback
second.
made by Zeta Molson.
So that'll up the lead to 21-12.
And as we've talked about before, Neil, you get enough offensive rebounds, eventually one of them is going to go in.
Yeah, and that's a deal that you might not get the basket. Well, there's another on the offensive end.
Callie on the Panther basket.
You might not score off of a specific offensive rebound, but if you're the coach, you got to be happy with the fact that you're getting those offensive rebounds, because eventually the odds are that you're going to drop a couple. And that's Lumpson trying to drive her way through the traffic, which she does, but unable to get a good look at the basket. So 21-14, Eustis down, but with possession, looking to cut into that lead. On the right side, Cho hands off to Navaya, who launches the tray, held ball.
Held ball, possession Panthers. Lucy and Boyd back in for Wekiva.
Tipped around and finally comes into the hands of Skylar, and she is fouled.
Foul called against Mustangs. Number 15, Christina Wright on the block. Her first personal foul, the first for the team this half. Panthers ball at the opposing baseline.
So now inbounded. Couple of handoffs. Cho trying to drive that lane, and she will pay dividends.
Chloe fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Panthers. The foul is called against Mustangs. Number 24, Matrice Boyd. That's her third personal foul and the team's second this half.
And as you heard Mark just say, that's her third personal foul on Boyd. So not in foul trouble yet, but certainly something to keep an eye out for as we are 5 minutes before the end of the third quarter. The Callie over on Eustis, she also has 3 fouls as well. And now an interception. Held ball. And that was Tammy Lucy getting her hand in the way of the pass.
Held ball, possession Mustangs.
And dividends will pay off as Wekiva gets the possession. You just heard Mark say. I'm Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi on the public address announcing, as well as teaming up on this broadcast. And the interception ripped out of the hands, come back the other way. That was Callie B, unable to drop the deuce, and doing Windex work for the Mustangs is Wright, and she'll lead the charge at the other end. No basket. An offensive foul.
Christina Wright is called with the offensive charge. Charge taken by Chloe. That's Wright's second personal foul, the team's third. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 12, Sarai Lumsden.
And so Eustis will bring the ball up, trailing 21-15. They've trailed throughout this game, but never by more than 6 points. Now facing the largest deficit of the game. On the right wing for Callie. Short, and grabbing the rebound is Lumsden, who will bring the ball back up the other way along that right sideline. Takes it herself. Stop, pops, and drops.
Sarai Lumsden on the Mustang jump shot.
And so now the lead's at 23-15, the largest for Wekiva. And Eustis trying to get back quickly.
And there's that same mistake I had mentioned happened a couple of times in the first half, trying to play keep away, effectively trying to play monkey in the middle with Wekiva, and instead of going for the bounce pass, they go for that high lob and make it unreachable for anybody.
So in the meantime, Boyd with possession. And she will draw the foul. Got whacked after spinning towards the basket in the lane.
Foul called against Panthers, number 5, Callie. That's her fourth personal foul, the team's first of this half, and it will send the Mustangs to the line. Matrice Boyd shooting 2.
So Boyd at the line with 4 points and an opportunity to increase the lead for Wekiva, which right now is at 8, the largest of the game.
Checking into the game for the Panthers, number 4, Dantasia. And that was expected, as that was the fourth foul in the books.
4 minutes before the end of the third quarter, Boyd drops the second free throw. And that gives Wekiva its biggest lead of the game at 9. And now they go to full court, man-to-man. Seen that a couple of times today.
Double teaming, and they achieve the turnover as a backcourt violation called on the Panthers. Mustangs ball.
Yeah,
so not a steal in the traditional sense, but still.
It's a turnover.
Yeah, Lumsden teaming up there with Lucy to make that happen.
Yeah, and I saw Coach Russ immediately point to where the player stepped over the midcourt line too. So again, Wekiva, I would say that if we did keep stats, the one that would stick out would be the offensive rebounds, but certainly a strong supplemental stat has been the turnovers. They got a number of them in the first 4 minutes or so, and now they're repeating that pattern here at the start of the second half. Back out to Lumpson from 15 feet, clanks off the front of that rim, and all kinds of action trying to grab the rebound.
Held ball, possession, Panthers.
So Wekiva unable to convert the turnover into points. However, very much the same as offensive rebounds. You're going to convert more turnovers into points than not. So I think Coach Russ has to be happy with the fact that their team is creating a number of turnovers along with those offensive rebounds as we drop under 3.5 minutes before halftime. And in trouble for another turnover, loose ball, and yes.
Held ball, possession, Mustangs. And so that will count as a steal for Matrice Boyd. Well, if we were keeping stats, it would.
And Boyd, great work in terms of effort, diving on the ground to get that loose ball. And now Lumpston looking to convert the turnover into points. And
draws just all kinds of contact. Foul called against number 13, Skylar. That's her second personal foul, the team's second of this half. It sends Sarai Lumpson to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
And yeah, so Lumpson, as Mark said, all kinds of contact. There was 2 or 3 players underneath that basket. But what is important is that Lumpson leaned forward to draw the contact. And so she goes to the line with 3 points. Wekiva's led throughout. They scored the first 2 points. This is their largest of the game at 9. Make that 10 as Lumpson drops the second. Free throw now has 4 points. Full court man-to-man continued by Wekiva. And Eustis again gets through it, but certainly takes him out of sync. And now the short shot from Mania, pulled down by Wekiva the other way to Boyd. And some great work by Eustis to get back. Great effort to prevent an open shot.
Yeah, ultimately it's a traveling call, but that was certainly caused by the interference put up by the Panthers. As to your point, Neil, they exercised great speed, preventing an easy transition layup.
Yeah, they got back very quickly.
And, so it is going to be Wekiva's ball. So while the Panthers were not able to get the turnover in that case, they at least disrupted the easy layup.
Down by 10, Eustis, and now the ball tipped. That was Cho getting her hand on the ball.
I'm assuming her name is Chloe. It was written as C-H-O-L-E in the scorebook.
Boyd takes the inbound pass, can't get a good look. No rim, and pulling down the rebound is Chloe.
And you saw the official give a deflection signal there, because otherwise that would have been a double dribble. We've got a shoe that got left in the backcourt. We'll
2.5
deal with that
minutes
later.
Before the third quarter, picked up by Lucy. Over to Lumpson, who drives along the baseline and draws the contact.
Sarai Lumpson fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against the Panthers. Number 4, Dantasia. That's her first personal foul, the team's third.
And did we figure out whose shoe that was on the court?
Yeah, that was Kiana Davis. She managed to find it on her way back.
Okay. So at the line with the 10-point lead is Lumpson. And now the lead up to 11. The largest of the game for Wekiva.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Michaela Akers, Natasha Williams, Christina Wright, and Zeta Molson. Pretty much everybody but the shooter. And 2 for 2 at the line for Lumpson. That might be the first time we've seen either team go 2 for 2 at the line tonight. Have to go back and check the tape.
Yeah, free throws has not been a strong suit for either team.
Yeah, as Mania tries desperately to avoid losing her pivot foot, she finally has no choice but to drag it with her and gets called for traveling Mustangs ball. And that's one of those where if we were keeping stats, that's one that you'd feel a little guilty putting that on the stat pad for Mania, because that wasn't really her fault. Somebody needed to bail her out there and nobody did.
In the meantime, Lumpson has the ball knocked away from behind, but it will remain with Wekiva. Wekiva inbound, Lumpson. Into Molson. Now she goes right back to Lumpson. And Lumpson's going to drive the lane and finger rolls the deuce.
Sarai Lumpson from the key for 2.
And now the lead's up to 29-15. Wekiva on 3 consecutive possessions, extending the lead to its largest. No dice for Chloe. And once
Held
again,
ball, possession, Panthers. That's another sign of a early season JV contest is we've switched the possession arrow, probably 6 or 8 times, not counting the quarter changes.
Oh, and
wide open.
Skyler getting loose.
Chloe on the inbound to Skyler for 2. So again, the Panthers have not really had any answers for the Mustangs in the second quarter, but they have kept the game within shouting distance. Since we came back from halftime, Wekiva has outscored the Panthers 10-5 as we get another held ball. Possession Mustangs, timeout Mustangs. Wekiva requests a 30-second, a full timeout called by Wekiva. We'll be back in just a moment.
And welcome back to Mustang Arena, junior varsity action on a Wednesday night. Wekiva, the home team, with the lead 29-17. They have possession at Sarai Lumpson. 2 attempts, great drive, but unable to get the basket, but she does draw the foul. Actually, it was a Wekiva foul.
Foul called against Mustangs, number 11, Natasha Williams. Her first, the team's 4th.
So in the melee, which ensued after the missed free goals, the foul is committed, and Eustis back at the other end looking to cut into that lead. No dice from Nevaeh. The rebound picked up by Skyler, and she is dropped to the court, and the foul will be on...
Foul called against Mustangs, number 11, Natasha Williams, her second and the team's 5th. So 2 in a row for Williams.
Inbound to Eustis. Dantasia with the ball. Up top to Nevaeh. And intercepted by Lumpson like a defensive back, jumping the route.
Sarai.
And she goes coast to coast.
Sarai Lumpson steals the layup for the Mustangs.
And now full court defense. Eustis gets it up, but unable to contend with it after getting to midcourt.
Tipped away by Molson and then scooped up by Lumpson. And the Mustangs pick up another turnover, and they'll have a chance to extend their lead before going into the final break. "12 seconds to go here. Swatted away by Dantasia. Now the Mustangs will punch the lane. Will it fall? Yes, it will. Sarai Lumpson, and 1. Foul's called against number 4, Dantasia. That's her second personal, the team's 4th. Lumsden shooting 1. So she now leads all scorers with 12 points in the books. And make it 13.
And now that lead has grown to 17.
Since halftime, it's been a 15-5 game.
Now Wekiva's doubled up Eustis now, 34-17. One last opportunity, and Eustis is not going to get a shot off.
That takes us to the end of the third period. The Mustangs outscoring the Panthers 15-5 in the third quarter, and that makes it a 34-17 ball game with 8 minutes left to play. More from Mustang Arena right after the break. The Panthers have the opening possession of the fourth period.
Mustang Arena, the site of this junior varsity action on a Wednesday night. Wekiva in the white jerseys, the home team, with a 34-17 lead as we begin the fourth quarter over Eustis.
Stolen by Lucy, got a clear path in front of her, slows down, pumps the brakes, and Tammy Lucy steals the Mustang layup. Well, that's a way to start the fourth period. Full court pressure coming on by Wekiva. Causes the Panthers to briefly lose their dribble and get things back under control for the half-court set. Down to the key.
And now back up in the middle of the paint as Callie B, who gets the 6-foot turnaround to drop. And so Wekiva will come back the other way, still with the 17-point lead as we're a minute into the fourth quarter. And ball tipped away, and now the loose ball picked up by Eustis coming the other way.
Ania fouled on the attempt. She'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Panthers. The foul is called against Mustangs number 12, Sarai Lumsden, her first personal foul, and the team's 6th.
So Chloe to Mania on that transition opportunity, and as you heard Mark say, Mania drawing the foul. She'll go to the line with, still looking for her first points. And lead remains at 17 for Wekiva, who has led from almost the very beginning. They scored the first point about 30 seconds in. And for a while, the lead was alternating between 4 and 7 points. Now, though, it is up to 17.
And the Mustangs let the ball go out of bounds. Panthers ball, and Tammy Lucy was wide open. That would have almost certainly been a layup, if not a short jumper, except that the pass was just a little too high for her to reel in. Some of these JV players still have a few inches left to grow. The J does not fall for Callie. Rebound to Lumsden going the other way, trying to go coast to coast, and too much heat on the layup. Putback won't fall for Boyd either. We're going to get some contact and a foul. We'll see if it was before or after the shot. Foul called against number 11, Chloe. That is her first personal foul, the team's 5th. It sends Matrice Boyd to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs. So that was indeed a continuation of the shooting motion, so that will put the Mustangs at the free throw line. Boyd cashes in on the first. She's got 6 now in the books.
So we'll come back the other way.
Transition opportunity and contact. Yeah, Lumsden shrugs her shoulders like, well, what was I supposed to do there? And unfortunately, that is a foul. Foul called against number 12, Sarai Lumsden. Her second personal, the team's 7th, and that will send Schuyler to the line. Shooting 2. Yeah, if you're in motion and you interfere with the shooting path of the offensive player with contact, you're going to get called for that. So far, no damage done. As Mania finds the glass, or excuse me, that's Schuyler that finds the glass, but nothing more. Suckerwood finds the mark, though. 7 points for her tonight. She becomes, I believe, the team's leading scorer with that basket. Lumsden nearly lost the ball to Mania there. Barely avoids both the 5 count and the steal. Boyd on the putback attempt. That's not going to fall. And Schuyler gets away with a clear path. All she has to do is make the layup. And she does. Schuyler adds the layup coast to coast for the Panthers. Lumsden pumps the brakes, but a little too much contact as she falls backwards. Foul called against number 11, Chloe. That's her second personal foul, the team's 6th. Mustangs ball at the sideline. Checking into the game, or returning to the game for Wekiva. Number 15, that's Christina Wright. Christina Wright from Lumsden for 2. 10 points now for her. Second leading scorer for the Mustangs. Picked up by Kilpatrick, has an open person, and there it goes. That's Kilpatrick on the pass to Christina Wright for 2. So a couple of well-executed plays in a row there. Wekiva doing exactly what they teach you to do in practice, getting the steal, finding the open man in transition, and an easy basket. Now we're going to get a foul on the putback attempt. Schuyler fouled, attempting the second chance basket. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul called against Patrice Boyd. Her 4th personal foul, the team's 8th. And now that technical from earlier in the game starting to come back to haunt the Mustangs as Boyd picks up the 4th foul. She has 6 points. She's the 3rd leading scorer for Wekiva tonight, but has a lot of intangibles on the court as well. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 11, Natasha Williams, and number 21, Zeta Molson. So Boyd comes off and will likely sit out at least a few minutes as she is at risk of fouling out. Christina Wright tries to pull down the rebound, but held ball, possession Mustangs. Coach Russ arguing that the free throw attempt didn't hit the rim, but the official ruled that it did, so off we go in the other direction. Doesn't matter, Wekiva gets the ball anyway. It'll cost him the possession arrow, though. Lucy looked like she wanted a 3. Now she does take the 3, but it's short. Wright manages to reel the ball in without going out of bounds. Gets it over to Molson, who draws contact. We're going to get a whistle. Foul is called against number 11, Natasha Williams. Her 3rd personal foul, the team's 7th. That sends the Mustangs, Zeta Molson, to the line, shooting 2. First one is short. Second one cashes in, though. Callie takes the ball out, pops it back to Chloe. Double team trap coming into play. And Molson almost got it, but that's okay because Kilpatrick is there to grab onto it. Not for long, though. Chloe not willing to give up that easily. A little contact with the official there trying to get out of bounds. Coach Russ arguing that the official owed Molson a favor for not running into him. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Christina Wright picks up the layup for the Mustangs.
And so the lead has now grown to 21. 4 minutes remaining as we get a whistle and a stoppage.
Foul called against Mustangs number 21, Zeta Molson. That's her third personal foul, the team's ninth. That puts the Panthers into bonus at the line shooting 1-1, number 13, Skyler.
To line, Skyler with 10 points. Make that 11, the leading scorer for Eustis. So for a while, mainly during the first half, the Panthers, Eustis, was able to keep that lead to no more than 6 points. However, Wekiva in the second half has exerted their muscles and have steadily grown that lead. It is now up to 19. It was actually just cut down from 21.
And that's the first pair of free throws that have gone 2 for 2 for Eustis tonight. Still a comfortable lead for the Mustangs going into the last 4 minutes. Lumsden wide right. Second chance not going. Third chance not going. Callie gets the rebound, has one man to beat, and does not as Christina Wright takes it away. Man open down the court. And cashing in, that's Matrice Point from Sarai Lumsden in transition. That was almost too high and too long, but boy, did a nice job of reeling it in, even though it was not a perfect pass. It was close enough. Returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 4, Michaela Akers. To the corner, the tray is a little short for Manea. And they're going to say that was last touch by Akers, so the Panthers will get another shot at it. Just a shade over 3 minutes remaining in the JV contest. And we are at 7:30 almost, so it looks like we're not going to be starting the varsity game on time as we get a basket by Chloe. 7 points in the books for her now. So again, the varsity contest is coming up. It's obviously not going to start at 7:30 like it was scheduled. This game has had a pretty high foul count in both halves, as we've got double bonus on the board for the Panthers, single bonus for the Mustangs. We had a similar situation in the first half, so this game's taking a little bit longer than the requisite 75 minutes. Held ball, possession, Panthers. JV and varsity doubleheaders are scheduled with an assumption that a JV game will take 75 minutes to complete, and this one's taking a little bit more. A long 2-point jump shot from Manea.
Lumsden drives that lane too hard. Clearing the rebound is Navaya, and out of bounds. Possession will remain with Eustis with 2:18 remaining. And the drive through that lane. Score the deuce for Chloe, +1.
Chloe gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Mustangs number 12, Sarai Lumsden, her third personal foul, and the team's 10th. Wright had the rebound, but got it knocked away from her and didn't have any help from her teammates. If that free throw hit the rim, it only grazed it. And now Callie going head-to-head with Akers, who falls backwards, giving an open lane. But Schuyler can't reel it in. Held ball, possession Mustangs.
Loose ball picked up, turnover by Wekiva. The other way we go.
Schuyler tried to pump the brakes and slipped.
Minute and a half remaining. Wekiva is going to win this contest.
Dribbled away by Lucy. And Coach Russ can't get the timeout called in time, but it's picked up by Lumpson after a fracas at the baseline. In transition, there it is. Lumpson to Christina Wright for two.
Lead back up to 17 as we drop to 1 minute remaining. And this is a somewhat of an uneven game in terms of the flow and the pace. But the bottom line, Mark, with 50 seconds remaining, Wekiva took the lead. They scored the first basket about 30 seconds in as they continue to hit that offensive rebound.
Put back by Sarai Lumpson.
And they have led throughout this entire game. For most of the first half, Eustis was able to keep the lead to no more than 6, but a very systematic expansion of that lead during the second half by Wekiva, and now they are up to 19. Their biggest lead was 21, and of course, if you look at two stats.
Second chance basket by Schuyler.
To explain the score, and that lead gained to as much as 21 and growing in the second half. That would not be a secret most of the time. What it is most of the time, that was turnovers and offensive rebounds. As there's now 7.6 seconds remaining in Houston, Eustis will most likely end the game with the possession. So once again, varsity action will take place in about 15 minutes, and that will feature the 11-0 fourth-ranked state in the state, Wekiva Mustangs, taking on the Eustis Panthers. Take us home, Mark.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 50-33 is the final score here in the JV contest. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Panther athletes. Thanks also to those of you who tuned in on YouTube or the NFHS network. We've got more basketball action coming your way. Don't go anywhere. We've got varsity coming up in about 15 minutes. We do want to remind those of you who are watching online, though, that each game is on its own separate live stream, and so we hope that you will meet us there in about 15 minutes. Until then, I want to thank Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief joining me for tonight's broadcast, as well as Keith Dickerson and his entire team at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, helping us tonight and all season long with our broadcast production needs. Again, for Neil Fisher, this is Mark Barnchie, the voice of the Mustangs. This has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. Until then, good night from Mustang Arena.